Precinct, Suffolk County Police Department. In recent months, we have seen vaping become a public health crisis. Yesterday, the first death in the state of New York was documented, a 17-year-old boy from the Bronx. Children as young as in the 4th grade have been reported to be vaping in their elementary school classrooms. Just this past weekend, 1,000 new cases of vaping-related illnesses have been reported to the Centers for Disease Control. Kids are not only vaping, but they're also smoking THC through e-cigarettes. THC is a gateway drug to other more serious and potentially lethal drugs such as opioid and heroin. The town of Islip has been at the forefront of the opioid heroin crisis, forming our Islip Town Opioid Heroin Task Force in 2018 to address this issue. And this year alone, there have been 21 opioid heroin-related deaths just in our town of Islip. September has been designated as National Recovery Month, so last month we turned the town of Islip cupola purple in memory of the lives lost, those in recovery, those struggling, and the families affected by this awful crisis. We're incorporating important education about the harmful effects of vaping into the message from the Town of Islip Youth Bureau, the message that they bring to the youth in our schools. It's gratifying to see that Governor Cuomo has taken a stand and is banning flavored e-cigarettes in the state of New York. Once the ban on flavored e-cigarettes takes effect, Town of Islip fire marshals will be monitoring compliance during routine inspections throughout the town. Back in May of 2016, I initiated changes to our town code. You know, it was kind of just happening, and it just didn't make sense to me to see vape shops popping up, you know, near schools in our downtowns. So we changed our town code to prohibit vape shops from locating near schools, parks, playgrounds, and places of worship. Recently, this section of the code was tested in court. Naturally, we were sued, and fortunately, it was upheld. Our fire marshals remain prepared to respond to any complaints we receive and to help ensure that flavored e-cigarettes do not reach the youth in our communities. At this time, I'd like to introduce Congressman Peter King. Pete is the co-chair of the newly formed Congressional Caucus to end the youth vaping epidemic. Congressman King has always been on the forefront of public safety, working diligently to keep our citizens safe. He has been a longtime colleague, working closely with us to end the scourge of gang violence in Suffolk County. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Congressman Peter King to discuss his new legislation. Pete?
Thank you, Angie. Let me congratulate you and Town of Islip for the really outstanding job you're doing, for being in the forefront, because this vaping is it's an epidemic, certainly among the youth. And again, just in the last several months, when you talk to kids casually, high school students, they say, oh yeah, they vape, their friends vape. It's just considered ordinary recreation, and it's also considered cool. We have to stop this, and I really blame the companies like Juul and others, the whole enticement of young people into vaping through flavored, again, all these various type flavors they use. It's just to draw kids in, and in many ways they're using the same advertising methods that the tobacco companies used 30 and 40 years ago to entice adults into smoking, somehow trying to convince you that smoking was healthy for you, smoking was the way to go. Smoking made you a better athlete, it made you more of a sex symbol, whatever it was. They had all these various type ads, and that's what they're doing now, not just with the overt ads, but social media. It's out in social media, and that's where young people today, that's where they communicate, that's where they get their knowledge, that's where they learn, they believe, how to live. So it's really a very sinister method to entice these young kids. And as Angie said, there's been deaths around the country. We had our first one here in New York. I know in various hospitals, I can tell you, people being taken to the emergency rooms after vaping. Again, usually young people. But it goes not just high school, it goes down as far as junior high school, and even younger in some cases. So again, we have legislation in Congress which would ban nationwide the flavored vaping. It would also raise the tobacco age to 21. But to me, the key thing we're focusing on is to end the sale to youth, to end the flavoring of vaping, and also to make sure the FDA gets involved with e-cigarettes the same as they do with ordinary cigarettes. So with that, I'm proud to be here today with Angie. It's something we have to fight on. And we really have to get the message out to the schools. I want to thank the police for the effort that they do. But again, it requires a concerted effort from all levels of society, because this is, it's a scourge, and it's something that is really ruining our nation's youth. So with that, Angie, thank you for what you've done, what the town is doing. As usual, you're in the forefront, so thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, I think instinctively we knew vaping couldn't be good, and we can do things locally, we can do things on a statewide level, but when it rises to the level of federal legislation, as Congressman King has done, I think we will see that a difference will really, really be made. And, you know, perhaps smoking should have been handled that way many years ago. As I mentioned earlier, children as early as 4th grade are vaping in classrooms, and it doesn't stop there. Kids are vaping in hallways, in locker rooms, and there is new technology to detect vape in those settings. It's being manufactured right here by the IP Video Corporation in the town of Islip's Foreign Trade Zone. And I'd like to introduce David Antar, a longtime friend and president of IP Video, who will discuss the Halo Smart Sensor. The technology is absolutely incredible. And I can tell you, my colleagues here on the town board, John, Kate, couldn't be prouder that it's happening right here in the town of Islip, and it's going to be making a difference across the country. David?
Angie, thank you very much, and we're very proud to be a part of this event that we're doing today. We at IP Video have been developing technology for the last 4 years to combat the vaping epidemic that we saw coming. We've been a national leader in school safety and school security for almost 20 years now, and we always do things to try and make the schools safer with technology that we develop. This product was developed 100% in the United States by our team, and it's manufactured right here at AA Tech, which is a large manufacturing facility that brings state-of-the-art manufacturing technology to this. The difference this has made is incredible. We have this in 46 states right now across the U.S., and the demand for it internationally is going up every day. The product is one of the only products that will actually do vape detection as well as vape with THC to be able to alert them when they're using drugs in the schools on top of just vaping. And then on top of that, it has a whole bunch of other functions for environmental safety and environmental monitoring. It does things like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide monitoring, methane, propane, and natural gas detection, chemical detection, temperature, humidity, air pressure, and light levels. And then on top of that, it has a whole audio analytics side for things like glass break, gunshot, and aggression detection, which are being developed right here at Stony Brook University. We have a team of graduate students working on this technology. So we're proud to have this product being manufactured here on Long Island, being distributed across the world, and we believe that this is going to really change young people starting to vape by stopping it in the schools, which is where it's happening the most. So thank you very much for having us here. We're very proud to be a part of this.
We're proud for what you've done. We're going to demonstrate, are we not?
Absolutely.
For you so that you can see exactly how this technology works and if there are any questions.
So is the town buying a number of these for public centers, for schools? Are we announcing anything in terms of purchases or implementation?
We have not gotten to that point. You know, this basically was to support the legislation that the congressman has introduced in Washington, and we just learned of the technology, and certainly we will be having those discussions going forward.
Can I ask the obvious question to the youth? So
Dave?
stand
Sure.
up. Just why is this so important for the protection of the youth in the schools? How is this connected?
Sure. So right now, it's peer pressure for the kids to smoke and vape, and no kid wants to rat out or report somebody else for vaping in the bathroom. This now gives the kids the ability to be able to go into the bathrooms in school, feel safe, and not feel that they're going to be threatened or falsely accused for vaping when somebody else is vaping in the room. So it stops the spread of it. You're not going to stop everybody from vaping, but it does definitely make a difference in kids not adopting it as quickly. And if we make it difficult for them to do in the schools, just like smoking, it starts to dwindle away. And this is one of the only technologies that will do that, but it serves a lot of other functions in addition to the vape detection.
Is this in place in any Long Island schools?
It
It
is,
is.
yes. It was
Can
actually...
you give this?
Sure, it was piloted originally in Bayshore schools, West Islip schools, and Three Village schools. If you recently saw, Three Village just filed a lawsuit against Jewel. They were one of the original pilot schools to test this technology and found it to work incredibly well. The difference between this and any other technologies out there is we don't get false alarms from our technology. We're able to use multiple sensors. There's 12 sensors in this device that allows us to filter out and ignore things like hairspray, body spray, and different things that might be in an area of privacy.
What do they cost roughly?
Roughly about $1,000
Per?
per unit, yes.
So are they strictly for school districts, or will they be used in public parks, or?
Yeah, so they're not for outdoor use at this time, although we're working on a version of that, but they do serve into hotels, into hospitality industry, into healthcare. There's almost no vertical market that this doesn't serve. We're talking to the airlines at this point about putting this into airlines, as well as into buses. So there's a lot of other areas besides areas of privacy that this device can go into. It's not really just designed for those areas of privacy. It's designed for every room of every building in the world.
But not outdoor?
Not yet. Not yet.
And Congressman, how do you think that this will help with the fight that you're helping with?
I mean, technology such as this, to me, it's absolutely essential because this is so imbued in young people today. We can't count on them coming forward. You need this type of technology to detect what's going on. It's an added weapon, an added tool for school authorities, for youth groups to be able to monitor what's happening. So to me, it's a tremendous step forward. It's something that has to be encouraged.
Congressman, your legislation does what? Is it a companion bill to what Senator Schumer was talking about yesterday?
Yeah, actually, I'm co-sponsored with Congressman Pallone and also Tom Swazia. We have similar legislation, and it would mainly it would end the flavoring of vape e-cigarettes. You just couldn't be. It's targeting a number of things. It's going to increase the tax. It's going to increase the age. It's going to bring in the FDA. Be monitored. The main thing it's aimed at is to stop the flavoring.
And that's going to make a huge difference because when they're marketing to kids, they're marketing, Chewy grape or, bubble gum flavoring and the things that kids will buy in candy. And so this will eliminate that, and it's got to really put a crimp in their marketing capability.
So we feel it's essential to have it nationwide. Otherwise, you have it being smuggled from
piecemeal.
state to state,
Yep.
as you do now with guns and everything else. So the idea is to have a federal national standard and get it implemented as quickly as possible. Also, it helps to bring pressure against companies like
In terms
Juul.
of these devices, what's the distance? So how close do you have to be? And
Sure.
couldn't a kid just see it? It's not, visible. So kids
Sure.
can avoid it.
Area covers a 12 by 12 area for vape detection. For all the other environmental sensors, it covers 1,000 square feet. So it still can pick up vape at a further distance than the 12 by 12 area, but it will take longer for it to react, and they want to be more reactive in a school district to be able to tie this in to a camera that's outside of the area of privacy to be able to determine who vaped, and they get an alert right to their iPhone or Android device, and then they also have video very often of that individual as they exit that area of privacy.
Go into a camera?
They don't go into a camera, they just associate to a camera that's in an area adjacent to an area of privacy. Yeah, we're very careful about privacy issues, about not recording video or audio from these devices. They don't do either one of those.
So this goes off in a bathroom, in a school bathroom. Just can you tell us what happens at that point?
Sure. As soon as this is in a school bathroom and somebody's vaping in that area, it will trigger an alert, whether it's vape or vape with THC, so it'll alert them individually to that, or if somebody tampers with it. And then that alert goes to a text or email to school administrators, and then they respond. And we have unbelievable number of suspensions across the U.S. with this product already. It's been out since April into the market, and the overwhelming response to it has been, it's long overdue. And it's an exciting product. And as I said, we're just excited to be able to manufacture this in the U.S. and actually be able to have it manufactured right here on Long Island.
Okay, why don't we go to the demonstration?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple of ways we can do a demonstration. Right now, what you're looking at, this is vape with THC, carbon dioxide, volatile compounds in the air, carbon monoxide vandal. If somebody tried to vandalize it right now, it would actually send an alert. If somebody tried to remove this from the ceiling, it actually can send an alert right to it. You can see the vandal just went up there. And aggression detection is what's measuring decibel levels, but over time that will be doing glass break, gunshot, and aggression detection. I'm going to just allow you to have somebody who's going to actually vape. I'm not, but somebody actually will vape here.
The vapor.
So if you don't mind, just blow it right up there so that they can kind of see what will actually happen on the screens over here. So as the vape goes up and goes near the device, it's going to start to register on here some of the levels of vape in the air. This isn't the ideal environment. It's meant to be on a normal drop ceiling. But it will analyze that, and over a period of time, it will actually provide an alert in a very short amount of time. And the vape's starting to register right now on it. And then it continues to do an analysis of it. And you should get a alert very, very shortly on it. There we go. So now it's still analyzing. And there's the vape alarm. Typically in a school district, no alarm goes off. It's a silent alarm just to administrators in the building, but it still gives you an idea over here to be able to display it that you can actually see the alarm that's going off from it. What's also very important is if I do another demonstration over here and use something like canned smoke on this. This is another halo unit right over here, if everybody can see. And this is canned smoke, so the difference when I spray something like this over here is that it's still going to register, but it's smart enough to know these are the VOCs and the carbon dioxide, but it didn't turn red or set off an alarm. It knew that wasn't vape. And that's where we're analyzing and not getting false alarms, and that's the big difference with a product like this versus other products that might be on the market that claim to do vape detection.
So
Any other questions?
hairspray.
Hairspray, exactly. We
Yeah.
would register, and we actually have the signature for all of those different devices, all those different airborne chemicals, and we actually define the signatures of them so we can actually define hairspray or define Axe body spray or Lysol. So as an example, we actually know when somebody cleans a bathroom in a school district, it actually sends us an alert, but not a vape alert. It sends that Lysol is being used in the room and that we know that they're cleaning the bathroom at that time. And it's amazing technology.
Can you just say your first and last name and your title?
David Antar, A-N-T-A-R. I'm the president of IP Video Corporation, based in Bayshore, New York.
In the town of Iceland.
In the town of Iceland.
Spell your last name again, sir?
Antar, A-N-T-A-R.
A-N-T-A-R.
If it wants to.
But could we also identify you as the Halo Smart Sensor?
Yes, that's our product. It's manufactured by.
Thank you very much.
So 3 school districts on Long
Oh,
Island?
no, there's a ton of school districts.
No, on Long Island. So in
Ton
terms-
on Long Island.
So the ones that have the technology, so you mentioned 3, I think you mentioned.
So yeah, it's
West Islip, Bayshore,
sorry,
and Three
West
Village?
Islip, Bayshore, Three Village. We're in where's Rick? Just come over here 1 second. Just some of the other school districts on Long Island. There's a ton of them, but I just want to know other school districts. I gave them the 3, but if you want to give them some of the others,
So we did Islip.
Yeah.
We did
Again, Bayshore,
Bayshore,
and
Three Village.
but there's the one.
Glen Cove is probably the best. They've done a big story on that. Their first day, they caught 5 honor students in the girls' bathroom. They had no idea that they would ever expect that they would do that, and it created a whole educational program in the district. And they've watched the decline in vaping drop dramatically.
And are they mostly for high schools?
High schools and middle schools. And just recently, we've started seeing it go down to elementary school, kids as 4th graders in high school and middle schools. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, some of the districts, like we have one in Ohio that did 120 bathrooms. One in California, same thing.
We have to ask
Yeah, bathrooms and locker rooms.
David.
No.
No, I have to do something else.
Your comments on the Trump impeachment inquiry.
From everything I've seen so far, I am totally against impeachment. There is nothing impeachable at all. And the fact that they won't even set up a formal inquiry is denying the President and Republican Party due process. In the Nixon impeachment and the Clinton impeachment, there was legislation passed setting the parameters, allowing both sides to have subpoena power. That's not here now, and it's to me, it's a rush to judgment. And if you're serious about impeachment, it's the most serious thing Congress can do. It should be done in an orderly way, not having 6 different committees looking at it, and all of them issuing different subpoenas for different purposes. And they've already prejudged us. So as of now, and as far as I can tell into the future, I'll be totally opposed to impeachment. I voted against Bill Clinton's impeachment too.
Congressman, can I ask you about Turkey invading
Sure.
attacking Syria?
Yeah.
So what is your
Oh,
opinion about
I'm sorry. Oh,
yeah,
oh.
what the president is doing?
Yeah, I think I strongly oppose what the president is doing as far as Turkey and Syria. It's an abandonment of the Kurds. They have been our strongest ally. We have largely defeated the ISIS caliphate, but that's been mainly or certainly substantially due to the help we got from the Kurds. They've had 11,000 deaths in this war, and to abandon them is really, to me, indefensible. Also, in a larger perspective, it's going to reduce our credibility in the Middle East. If we are not standing with our allies, it's going to send a message to Jordan. It's going to send a message to Saudi Arabia. It's going to send a message throughout the Middle East that our word can't be taken seriously. The big winners from this are going to be Iran and ISIS, and to some extent Syria, but mainly Iran and ISIS. And the big losers could be Israel. Okay?
I'm going to need a little bit on this vaping because I missed the whole
Yes,
thing.
I have
So
to do an AR too for an afternoon roundup, so can I do it
you want
together
to do
with
that?
you?
Oh, together. It's
Yeah,
fine.
is that okay? All right.
He's going to
They
play
do-
that.
I'm sure they did our afternoon roundup before, so they're like, get him for the afternoon roundup, so.
They're going to do the signing.
Oh, thank you, sir.